wait, this is actually pork. Oh, wait, that's what this is? Ooh. It's our pork ribeyes?
It's our pork ribeyes
Let's
that
get some schnitzel going.
are absolutely delicious because you love the pork ribeyes from Rastelli, and as you're looking and you keep looking, and Ray Rastelli would always make this lovely pork ribeye, and he would make it breaded, as Bertie said, schnitzel. And you called in and said, Ray, could you please just bring us the pork ribeyes that are already breaded? So Ray said yes. This is Chris Menser. I'm going to come back to you in 1 second. But Rastelli, as you know, is our #1 food brand here on QVC. These pork ribeyes have turned on the head what you thought a pork ribeye should be, right? You know, or what a pork chop was, right? There's no bone in here. In the same way that we think of a beef ribeye, this is the pork ribeye version. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 of them. Each one of them 6 ounces. So over a quarter pound, you could easily cut these in half and give 2 3-ounce servings. $99.98, 4 easy payments of $25. But again, go put this in your cart, drop in the word save 10, and take this down to $89, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and you're feeding 10 people. And 131517 is your item number. Let me back up and say this is the second time it's been on. The first time it was on, it sold out. That was the debut. That was the debut for the breaded pork ribeyes, and woo, they just went out of here in 2 seconds. They're back. There is an auto delivery. There is an auto delivery, or is there no auto delivery? I think there might be no. There is an auto delivery. The auto delivery is going to be every 60 days, and that makes this the absolute must-have for your freezer. I'm going to come back to you, Chris Menser, because I'd love for you to introduce us. It's funny because whenever Ray and you all bring these, there does have to be an introduction to what is a pork ribeye. I think people are unsure.
It really is. So let's start with that, Rachel. So this is our pork ribeye, and the pork ribeye, if you had our beef ribeye steaks, the black Angus, it's the same thing. But what we've done with the pork, we take the bone off like we do with our boneless ribeye. We take all the fat off, everything, all the gristle. We cut these beautiful steaks. And this is the pork ribeye that you've been getting at home that everyone has absolutely loved.
Right.
And then what we do is then we take that piece and we pound it.
Okay.
And this is where the cutlet comes from, right here. So we make the cutlet. So we take all the work out for you. We actually flour this. We dip it in egg. We dip it in panko breadcrumbs, which is a Japanese breadcrumb that gives a really nice crunch, with Parmesan cheese, right, with parsley, salt and pepper.
And then here is the result.
And this is the result. Now we do par cook these for you at home, so that way what you're getting is they're going to look just like this, Rachel.
Okay.
And you're going to see these in the bag.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, so they're going to come to the bag just like this, and they're par cooked. So that way you can cook them in the air fryer.
Hold on a second. Yep, so they look like this. And you have all the instructions here.
All the instructions are here.
All the instructions are here, so while we're going to walk you through it, but each one is like this. So you take out what you need. Do you need one? Is it you and your honey? Do you need 2? Do you need 3 of them? Each one of them 6 ounces. So as I mentioned, you can cut them up into strips and put them on top of a salad if you want to, but you can actually just have one and have some vegetables and some potatoes and many of the ideas that we have here. But you want to go up front and just talk to us about what we're seeing here, because they're juicy and flavorful.
So these are going to be
tender.
Yeah, so it's going to be the same absolutely melt in your mouth that you get from our pork cutlet. It's going to be juicy, it's going to be tender. It's going to have that thin, crunchy panko bread crust on it. It's going to give it a nice bite. So it's going to actually, and I cut you a piece here too,
oh,
Rachel.
Gosh, thank you.
And it's going to absolutely melt in your mouth like our pork chops does. And the thing too, Rachel, is that what everyone loves about our pork chops is that it's fork tender. These are fork tender as well. I mean, it's the same exact. Take a bite.
Some of the crust just left. So the pork is tender and juicy and flavorful, and because you've got that little breading on it, it makes it feel special, right? Like Bertie said, it's schnitzel. But because you've got that little panko on it, that little crust on it, it feels kind of like you're a little naughty. I mean, you're like, do I get a crust on something? Wow.
Yes, dip it right in there.
It's delicious.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it really is delicious. And the thing is that we still get the pork.
Oh my God.
It's all about where the pork comes from.
It's
Right?
delicious.
It comes from our small farms that Ray has a relationship. It comes fresh to the butcher shop. We actually clean it, trim it, We pound it all at the butcher shop, and then we do that process of flour, egg, and breadcrumbs, so you don't have to do it.
It has such a great flavor to it. It's not overpowering with any type of seasoning. It's not overly salty or anything like that. It's just absolute perfection.
Hold on
the
a second.
crust on the
Wait till the
outside,
camera's to
the
you.
crust on the outside is very, very, I would say like satisfying. It's like a panko crust on the
Yep.
outside.
Yeah.
It is a panko crust, and that's where you're getting that really nice crispiness from. But it's so easy. So if you're at home and you're in a pinch, like you said, Rachel,
Sure.
you can do 1 or 2, right?
And then come on over here.
then-
Check it out. We've got some vegetables that we're going to put it with, some root vegetables.
And-
If you put a glaze
And
on
you put
top
that
of it.
balsamic glaze with the root vegetables.
Little apples. That's
Yeah.
And then
That's
the
nice.
balsamic goes great with those apples.
And then down front, what did we do
we,
here?
Oh,
we
the
have
Parmesan.
we have our classic Parmesan down there.
Ooh.
And then
A
we have our
pork schnitzel
stuffing here.
Parmesan.
And what did we do right here?
Stuffing with your greens, a little bit of hollandaise with it, because it's so versatile, especially during.
What are we going to do with the mac and cheese?
I'm going to show you
Okay.
because these are so big, Rachel. When these are breaded, they're 6 ounces, but once you do the breading with them, look how big this is. So we're going to do our little
Oh
mac
my
bake.
gosh, that looks so good.
So one will do 2, right? One will do 2 servings on here.
So 2 dinners. So while we're saying that it happens to be 10, I think that you could do 20. Bertie and I would split this in half.
Yeah.
And we'd do 3 ounces for
Yes.
each person. We'd have a salad or we'd have a glass of wine.
Yeah.
We'd have some of the Kevin O'Leary wine. And we would have some chocolates afterwards.
And can I just
that
say
would
this?
be our meal.
Not many restaurants can you go to where you can order a pork schnitzel.
Yes.
You know, really, honestly, if you like a pork schnitzel, it's very hard to find. In Palm Springs, there is one restaurant that I do go to. There's one restaurant, and they have pork schnitzel. How much is it on the menu?
Okay.
You will never believe. It's $45.
Are you serious?
I believe
It's
it.
$45 for the pork schnitzel, and yeah, you do get the sides. I will say that you get the sides
But
of it.
even so,
But yes, it's so crazy delicious, and it's something that only my mother makes for me, or I can get at a restaurant and pay that much money.
Yeah.
Or you can get this, and you can make it for yourself whenever you feel like it, when it's cold outside and it's dark, because now it's getting dark at 5 o'clock.
and you want something that's going to stick to your ribs and feel cozy and
Yeah.
comfy and be satisfying,
Yeah.
feels like home. I'm from Minnesota. We're like meat and potatoes people, so we definitely want a pork ribeye.
Right.
And when you've got the breading on top, let's back up. And Chris, tell us the story of how this came about. And by the way, Chris Metzer has been with the Rastelli family for a quarter of a century. He's always in the butcher shop with Ray. But tell us how these came about, really.
Well, these actually did come about because when we were doing the pork ribeye, we would do the schnitzel for you. We would
Ray
always
would- Ray
have,
would talk
we would
about it,
always talk
pound
about
it
the
out.
schnitzel. We talked about the Parmesan.
Yeah.
All the QVC guests requested, can you please do this for us? We don't want to do this at
Yeah.
home. So we
Yeah, it's so much
actually
work.
Oh, it's
Right.
so much work.
Yeah,
So
I
we
don't want to bread it and egg it and do all that stuff and then
pound
put
it,
and
pound
then,
it,
and then
flour,
fry it.
egg it, breadcrumb it. It's so much work. So we said, you know what? For our QVC family, we're going to do this, and we don't even have this in the butcher shop.
You don't?
We do
Okay.
not. It's for QVC.
Yeah.
We do
You
not
know,
carry
this is the second item. So in this show, we had the beef Wellingtons from Rastelli, and we also had this from Rastelli. Both of those products are only here. Ray said, can't get the Wellington in my butcher shop. Chris just said,
We can't.
get the pork ribeye that's breaded in the butcher shop. Only here. This is why we like to have you come and join us at QVC, because we offer you things that are nowhere else. I need you to put in save 10 when you're placing your order for this, because I want you to knock this back from 99 bucks to 89.
Yeah, save money.
Just literally drop that into your cart before you check out, so you get $10 off instantly. Chris
awesome.
Menser,
Pork tender.
thank you
Thank
so
you
much
so
for
much.
bringing
Thank
this
you
to
very
us.
much.
Always a pleasure.
Appreciate
Thank you
you
so much.
always.
Thank you, thank you.
It's awesome.
This is always a hit sellout, and the fact now that it's breaded is crazy. If you want to shop the show, we recommend you go to QVC.com, and you can shop items recently on air, and you can shop the show backwards and see all the things that we had.
And remember,
There were
those
some
one-time
goodies.
only prices, they go away in less than a minute and a half, so you want to check out your shopping cart on those. If we have anything left from Anderson Seafoods,
Yeah.